This video is a brief discussion of the major essay assignment that is upcoming. I apologize. I meant to have it posted by yesterday evening, but I forgot that the Cowboys were playing in the evening, so I wound up watching the game instead. So I apologize, but I'm getting it posted this morning. So if you look, please, at the modules, you'll see under Unit 8, uh, excuse me, um, not Unit 8, Unit 9. Let me do this again. Unit 9. You will see that it states that the major essay is due at that time, which is basically a week away, a little less than a week now. If you click on this, you'll see a little discussion about the topic. It tells you to choose one of the topics with the details. It's to be 1,000 words or longer. You have to follow MLA format, and I'll go over MLA format for you in just a moment. Um, You need to submit it as a doc. You can use Google Docs, but I'm just letting you know that sometimes when you save it as a PDF or a Google Doc, when you submit it to turn it in, the format alters. And so you can do it with Google Docs and also as a PDF if you've saved it. But be careful that once you upload it, check it again, make sure your format has not altered. I had a student in the fall. Every essay he submitted, it was in my English class. He had saved it to Google Docs and he showed to me it looked fine. But when he had loaded it in to turn it in, and Google couldn't cooperate well, and it's changed up his formatting tremendously. So just be aware of that. You are not to use any AI generated material. There is an AI generator report that comes up when you submit to turn it in. I'll look it over. And if you do have AI, any percentage, it says wholly or partially, that's considered plagiarism, and I'll put a 0. Generally, I will send you a note saying that you need to eliminate the AI material and resubmit. So please be aware that do not go to any of the AI generators and use that. Um, be careful about using Grammarly. Grammarly even now admits that it is an AI because as you're writing, it changes it for you. It updates it. It writes the essay for you, and that's an AI. So you need to be careful about that. Um, and again, just recognize that you're supposed to be following MLA format, and I'll go over that in just a moment. This is due at the end of this week, Saturday. It stays available until Sunday. So please keep that in mind. So that's one place. I think I have it under Unit 7. I had forgotten about it being listed there as well and had not updated the date when I transferred these over. Yep, there it is, Unit 7, saying major essay assignment. I now have the date corrected. But again, if you go to either Unit 7 and read this one or to Unit 9 where it talks about the essay being due, if you click on this part, it'll take you to the module, which is where you need to go. And there it is, major essay module. If you do not know how to use Turnitin and Canvas, this is a video from a professor who deals with resources at University of Kentucky. And he just goes over it. You click on this gray bar and opens it up, and he will discuss how to do this. And he goes over how to submit the assignment to turn it in from Canvas. He also goes over how to resubmit in case you have to resubmit the essay. You upload the wrong file or whatever. He goes over it toward the end of the video. It's not a very long video, but it's very useful in case you do not know how to use Turnitin and have not done so in the past. So now let's go back to the module. This should leak. There you go. Well, no, going to Unit 9 again. Um, let's go down to the module for the essay. And I have a couple of examples for you. This is an example of major essay. It's not over the topic that you are to write about. If you have issues trying to see this one, and sometimes Canvas, I put a document up here for it to open, doesn't always do that. I've made it available for you to just download the essay itself and look at it that way. This one is a solid essay. It's not exceptional. You'll see it was done a few years ago. This one looks at religions, not one of your topics, but you will see how it uses sources. In this case, this particular comment, the main prophet Moses, is not a direct quote. but is taken from the source, in this case, PACE. This information about the priests being Roman magistrates is taken from the article written by De Nova. And you can go through and see the details that are used here by De Nova and PACE and a couple of others. You'll see the details here. As you go through it, you'll see it's double spaced. Paragraphs are tabbed over properly, which is what is called MLA formatting. There is a header, and then there's a heading. Now, the heading here, this is one of the issues. This should have been up against the left margin. The individual tabbed it over and did not need to be tabbed over. But you'll notice that the paragraphs are tabbed over, that the essays are double spaced. There's a title put on here. It did not need to be in bold. In fact, do not use bold when you're doing that. But every paragraph is tabbed over. Every information taken from the textbook or from the articles is cited, whether it's quoted directly or if it is paraphrased or summarized, as this information is here. This is from the textbook. And so, again, if you take information from a source, whether you quote it directly or you summarize it, you must give credit. And this is what we call the parenthetical citation. Again, because it's in parentheses. You put the name of the person. In the case of the textbook, you put the page number, close your parentheses, and you put your period, ending your sentence after the citation. The citation is considered the end of the sentence. You'll notice that's done throughout this essay. Then down here on the works cited page, again, that did not need to be in bold. Person did not need to be in bold, but works cited, W and the C capitalized, centered, and then the name. Cunningham, Lawrence, et al., because there's two other authors. You can do it that way. Title of the textbook. There should have been a period here. These are the articles. This article title should have been in quotation marks. Same thing with this one. But you'll see again where it came from the research sources available through our library resources here. And that's what you want to make sure that you're using. So that gives you an example of a major essay. This is a second one. This one is about the Black Death. Again, you'll notice the heading is over on the left margin, proper way. Header up here. Title of the article, tabbed over for the paragraphs. The idea of having the citations right here. You'll know Unique and Wade are being used here. You'll see the next paragraph is offered. Do not have extra spaces between the paragraphs. Should all just be double spaced. This is quoted directly, so again, citation is needed. Again, you'll see that more sources are used, again, here. The next paragraph is tabbed over, which is why all yours should look. Then goes on down, and again, let me move this down so we can get further to it. Get to the works cited page. There you go, works cited page. Again, using the Cunningham et al. Version. Title of the textbook italicized, which is how it should be. The author of the article, title of the article in quotation marks, where it came from. This one, again, title of the articles in quotation marks, the article, the URL should be provided. This one should have had a URL also. And then the unique, and again, there should have been a URL on this one as well, but did not offer that one. And it should have. There should have been a URL, just as this one is. Notice that the sources are listed in alphabetical order, which is what needs to be done. So again, you have an example of an essay that way. And then here's the example of the works cited page where you can do it in a couple of different ways. Again, you'll notice that Cunningham, you can list the other two authors, or you can just do it this way. And so this is how you're looking at it. Either way will work. If you use volume 1, you do that. If you use volume 2, you change it to volume 2. This gives you an idea of how the works cited page should look. For the actual assignment, there is a rubric I use to grade. This is the humanities rubric, and you can go over and see the different areas. That there are 5 different areas And then that there's an explanation of each one here. Um, for instance, if you do use AI, if plagiarism is detected, I click over here for the zeros. If you do not fulfill the requirements for the assignment, I can click here or here. Um, and again, areas that you need to look at, you can read over those. So I provide you the rubric that I will be using to score your essay. All I do is just read your essay, determine which of the boxes it fits, and I click the box. And then the grade generates. For the actual assignment, here it is. It's for chapters 13 through 17. The example essay over the Black Death fits into that topic. Again, you're to choose only one of the topics. A few years ago, when in a humanities class online, I had a student. They had a choice of different topics, and she submitted it early, which was good because she did a brief paragraph over every topic. So I had to send her a note saying you are supposed to choose one and write a full essay, 1,000 words or more. So please keep that in mind. You're going to use the textbook and probably also outside sources. Again, do not plagiarize. Do not use AI sources to generate your essay. Please do not do that. And again, the essay topics are here. Um, and then to go into the essay topics, you simply click here, and I'll make sure that the preview opens for you. It's supposed to already be opening, but Canvas gets a little contrary at times. It doesn't always want to open things. But this is the essay topic. And we'll raise those up a little bit here. There we go. Um, again, same information you've seen. The first one is about Michelangelo, how he represents quite a bit in the course of his work, different periods. And so I asked you to look at one sculpture in each of his periods. He has like three major periods in his life, running from the Renaissance all the way into Mannerism. So I want you to look at different works, different sculptures. Do not consider his painting of the Sistine Chapel, but I want you to discuss his sculptures and explain how each one shows the emphasis of every period. So look at those. And again, how does each work also, though, lead other developments in art? How is it going to influence what other artists will do later? So look at those. And again, specific details, specific considerations. Again, this one doesn't really take that much to do. A little background on Michelangelo and the periods as your introduction, selecting each of the sculptures and discussing those in about 300 words, which to go into the details about probably will take you that much, and then wrapping it all up and you've written your overall essay. The next one is about Hamlet. For those of you who like the idea of literature, Hamlet is mentioned in our the textbook. Talks about some of the details there. Even shows David Tennant as Hamlet as a picture. Well, I want you to look at Hamlet, though, as Castiglione describes the Renaissance courtier. And also, in the previous chapter, you had Machiavelli and his idea of the prince. Well, the subtitle of Hamlet is A Prince of Denmark. So I want you to do a discussion of how Hamlet fulfills both the courtier, the image that Castiglione presents in his book, and then also how he is a Machiavellian prince figure. So that way you're doing a comparison using the character of Hamlet and basically writing 400 or 500 words how he is a Renaissance courtier, but he's also Machiavellian prince. So again, a fairly straightforward way to approach it, using specific details from Machiavelli, using specific details from the courtier by Castiglione. Third topic looks at the Venetian school of painting. It becomes a very uh, developed style at that time. And then you had the style used in Rome, the ones that were the artists who were primarily sponsored by the Catholic Church at that time. So there was a very distinct styles and subjects. So you're going to look at these areas of style, subjects, color, spacing, line, details of each painting. So you want to choose about 2 or 3 paintings of the Venetian style, 2 or 3 paintings of the Roman style, and discuss those in how they contrast and compare. Again, fairly straightforward, looking at 2 or 3, a couple of examples from the Venetian school, a couple of examples from the Roman school, and if you go into the details and really analyze the painting, for those of you who like to do, you know, art criticism, then this gives you a chance to do that. It won't take that long really to write those. Background over Venetian school and the Roman school as your setup, and then looking at the specific examples the rest of the way for the essay, and you'll be able to develop it in that way. The next topic is looking at some of the scientific development that occurs during the eras covered in these chapters. So I ask you to choose 2 of these figures, Copernicus, Napier, Gilbert, or Harvey. So choose only 2, not all 4, just 2, and basically write about each one and how they are important, why we regard these individuals as important, both in their own era and then also how they have influenced science and scientific study currently, even through modern times. So look at a couple of these. Again, you have details in your book, but you'll also want to look up some of the details elsewhere, and we'll look at some of the places that you can see sources here in just a moment. The next topic looks at the Baroque period in music, art, architecture, and literature. So you're going to look at least one of those areas. Probably you want to choose a couple. I don't know if you want to choose all 4 that are mentioned there, but you want to look at specific examples. And then I have you bulleted key points here to look at and think about. So again, this gives you an opportunity to use those to discuss the Baroque. If you watch the video over the Baroque art, that will give you some really good details. Vladimir Januzak had those 3 videos. I realize it's 3 hours to watch, but he goes into quite a bit of these details, especially that about light and symbolism, the use of space, the use of emotion, as he's looking at art and architecture. So really something to consider if you want to look at those. And again, citing that source is fairly easy to do as well. The next topic is about the Aztec Empire, what causes their, where they come from. It's always interesting to think about where the Aztecs actually come from. There's several suppositions. How they reached Mexico, what we now currently see as Mexico, where they came from. There are all sorts of theories and interesting developments, and there are even television programs that are looking into this. But the origins, their achievements, and then also what brought about the downfall of the Aztec. You want to look at their social structure, their religion, how they were militarily, and then when the Spanish come in, what happened then. So that gives you about 3 or 4 different areas to look at. Again, 300 words or so each one, and you'll have the full essay done. This next one is about the Maya civilization. Again, this is a one where you get to look at the details of who the Maya were, what they did, especially areas in math and astronomy, architecture, their writing system. There's all sorts of interesting studies that have been made recently and new discoveries about the Maya. And I have you some articles posted there for you to look at that talk about some of the recent discoveries. And so you can look at those, and again, gives you some areas to discuss and some interesting studies about who and what the Maya civilization really was. And then the last one is talking about music and the impact that Asian music had in the 1960s. And so you're to choose, it says 3 Anglo-Americans, I mean British or American musicians, how they became interested in South Asian music, and how it influenced their music making. To give you an idea, the Beatles in the 1960s, of course, hit big in '64, the British invasion. But during the later 60s, 67, 68, they traveled to India. That would be Asian music, South Asian. They traveled to India and they came back, and you can hear the influences of that South Asian music on some of their releases at that time. So you can look at those, and again, choosing some of these, and our book mentions some of this details, and you can look at some of those and also do some research on it. So that's your last topic. So those of you who are interested in music, you have those. Those of you who are interested in the Native Americans, Aztec, and Maya culture, I have those for you. The Baroque period is covered there, and it gives you an opportunity to discuss either music or art, architecture, literature, or a combination of those with specific examples. Again, specific examples. For those of you who are interested in science, we have that topic covered. Again, art criticism, have that one there for you. Literature, Hamlet, and then more art with Michelangelo. So again, these are the topics that you can choose from. The Again, let me show you this part. I have to redo this. It does this all the time. Um, to upload your essay, once you have it ready, you will see this gray bar here. Now, once this starts opening, the gray bar will be lower. You'll have to go down below the uh, uh, essay appearance. But you click on this gray bar, and it will open Turn It In. You'll see that the URL has gone to Turn It In. You'll get this image, and you'll have one called Submit Assignment, and you'll click on that red button, and then you'll follow the instructions for submitting the essay, where you simply locate the file and upload it. And so you'll see this image with a Submit button. Let me go back over here and see if the student view is available for right now. Yeah, it has not unlocked yet. It should be opening soon. So let me leave the student view. Um, well, it's supposed to be available. Should be available for you. I'll have to check see what Canvas has done again. Let's say it's supposed to be available. So I'll have to look see what's going on with it. So anyway, what you're looking at then is the essay assignment with the topics here, uploading here, clicking on that bar to upload your essay. Again, details are offered over here in the sense of example essays and the detail of how to do the works cited page. For following MLA assignment, um, the idea about having it double spaced, again, the sample essays, I'll just click on this one again. Um, and I'll have to check to see why Canvas was not opening the topics for you the way it's doing the essays. But again, this is how your essay should look. Double spaced, details. Now, if I open this up for you, if I download this one, I can show you a few details. So let me go ahead and just open this one up. The editing, make it a little bigger. Let me go to the home aspect. When you open up your Word document, you'll see the word paragraph here, and this can help deal with quite a bit. You'll have double spacing. You'll have for your works cited page, it's called what's called a hanging indent. You do that, and just mark that particular one for you. And so your essay should look this way. And again, under the home, when you click on home, it'll show you all the details that you need. Times New Roman is the acceptable font. Calibri 11 is fine as well. But you'll see how this is set up with the heading here, the headers over here. To do your header, you go to Insert, Insert Header. You go through all the details here of the essay, and you again notice how it's double spaced, how the citations are part of it. You can see the use of the specific information quoted directly, sometimes paraphrased but still cited. Again, the works cited page and how that's used. So all that's important. Let me close that out. So again, when you go into the module, you'll see the essay topics. They should be opening automatically. I'll have to check how Canvas, the settings are with Canvas, make sure it's done correctly. But you can see the details. And again, it's due by the end of the week. So if you do have questions, email me, let me know, and I'm going to get this posted very quickly. So again, any questions, please let me know, and I'm looking forward to a good essay. Before we go, library resources are located here. You simply click on this, and you go to the EBSCO database to look for, let's say, Maya civilization. Make sure I get it right. And then when I hit enter, it's going to ask me to log in. You use the same login that you do for um, Canvas. I'll just retype my password to show you just do that. And so then they'll take you to our EBSCO sources. You want to look at full text. And you'll see some of these about interesting title on this one. This is actually a curriculum for grade 6, talking about the Maya. Um, this is a fairly good article here, looking at some of the books that have been written, just to give you a summary of those. Um, this one looks at the Maya and also Chinese culture in comparison there. Um, you have some other details here, and so um, you can click over here to get full text. Go over here and all time, if you want, just in the last 10 years. Source type, if you want academic journals, you can click there. If you want magazines, you click there. If you want news, you click there. You apply it, and those will come up. And again, just several details here. Uh, this one is a fairly interesting article, but it's a little older now. Um, where it does talk about some sites that were found again about 10 years ago. This one's talking about again, this is a little more recent, about the Mayan civilization, a monument that's been found there through the use of LIDAR. A few more aspects are offered here. This talks about the history of it, and again, it's a little older, but it works. It's a nice article, um, and so you can look there. Uh, if you're going to look up, let's say, about Michelangelo, let's go with him. He came up here, so you didn't even have to go all the way, type it. Again, you get to look at some of the other aspects, um, and you can look at details um, that are offered here. Rodin and Michelangelo speculation, looking at Rodin's approach to sculpture, being influenced by Michelangelo. And again, part of what it says in the topic is how Michelangelo's work may have influenced others. That's a good article to look at. If I go up here and offer the idea about sculpture, again, you'll see a sculpture about after Michelangelo, his influence. Um, talks about, again, robots trying to replace Michelangelo. This one looks at the Michelangelo's David in a very close aspect. Um, so you have some other details that are offered as well. Um, and so you have some articles that way to look through our library resources. So again, that's a way of going back and finding those. Um, if you're going to go to other outside sources, you do a Google search. Please be careful about which sources you use. Uh, avoid Wikipedia, folks. Do not use Wikipedia for academic purposes. Nothing against Wikipedia, but it's not for academic writing. So be careful about what sources you're using. There are a couple of good sources out there. Um, I've tried to give you some. If you go up here to uh, chapter the unit 9, um, if I can get this to move, um, you'll see a few details here about some of the artists and who they're like, what they're like. Again, under this one, you have other ideas here that are offered to you that you can look at. Um, so again, some areas you can look at and note um, uh, that you can pay attention to. This one, the 17th century. Um, this is the unit that has the understanding art of the Baroque. I give you the link to part one, and then it shows you part two and three as well that you can go into. So again, these are the units you want to look at. These are the ones that you get to go with. The essay, as you'll note, is over chapters 13 through 17. You have one topic at least over each of those chapters. And again, I'm looking forward to reading your essays. Please do keep in mind, I am also an English teacher. Formatting, MLA formatting, punctuation, spelling, sentence structure, all that does count. So again, I'm looking forward to reading them. And if you have any questions, please let me know.